Charles and Richard, have you ever had an atheistic experience? Just for...
Yes, of course, because it's a phase that you go through when you're a teenager.
Ah, okay. Wow. Okay. We're going to have a question. There's a lot of questions over here. I'm very keen to get some questions down over on this side here, but gentlemen here first. Good. And then over here, please.
Professor Dawkins, you are arguably the world's leading apologist for atheism, and you have been invited on several occasions by arguably the world's leading Christian academic apologist, Dr. William Lane Craig, to engage in debate. I would like to know why this is not an example of the new atheists doing what Lord Harries has described as avoiding the strongest possible arguments from the opposition.
Okay,
thank you.
That's a very straight question. Over here now, and then at the back, please. Let's take question number 2 at the back, please. Yep.
Atheist fundamentalism is not a new phenomenon. If Professor Dawkins had read history of Russia and China, he would know that atheism conducted programs of violence against people of faith. Have you a comment to make on that, please, Professor?
That's a monstrous suggestion.
That's a monstrous suggestion, but we're going to hold back in just a second, and the monster will just be suppressed while we have the third question over here.
Professor Grayling talked about the many strands of unbelief, and Charles Moore talked about the subtleties of Christianity, and I wonder whether Mr. Moore would like to comment on the idea that there's not much subtlety in calling everybody that's an unbeliever an atheist.
Okay, we'll take Richard first on why you're not going to, apparently prepared to debate against that lady. Then we'll come over here and we'll finish up on the question there about Stalin's gulags.
I have always said when invited to do debates that I will be happy to debate a bishop, a cardinal, a pope, an archbishop. Indeed, I have done both. But that I don't take on creationists, and I don't take on people whose only claim to fame is that they are professional debaters. They've got to have something more than that. I'm busy.
And if she said she was busy too, you would say?
It was a he, actually. But
oh, oh my goodness, what a boob. Over here, moving straight on, yeah.
What do you want me to quiz? Which one?
I'd like you to come back on that second question, if you can recall it.
No.
Charles.
Well, I think the lady over there was asking a question about how did I describe unbelievers. I certainly wouldn't describe all people who don't believe as atheists. Obviously not. And nor would I just treat all atheists in the same way. The point of this argument tonight is about a particular character of atheism which has decided to assail Christianity without trying to, and faith more broadly, without, I think, honestly trying to understand what it is, and it's that to which I'm objecting.
Thank you very much. And now the response on Russia. Richard.
The implication was made that the monstrosity, the awfulness of Stalin's Russia, Mao's China, had something to do with atheism. These were dreadful people having dreadful political philosophy which they ruthlessly enforced in their countries. It is incidentally true that they happened to be atheists. It's incidentally true that Hitler, Stalin, and Saddam Hussein all had moustaches. But it's nothing to do with either their moustaches or, in the case of Stalin, his atheism. Hitler wasn't an atheist.
Okay, serious point here, Richard. What would then be your response to somebody who would say that Muhammad Atta and his 18 colleagues on 9/11 had nothing to do truly with spirituality and with love of mankind?
It had everything to do with their Islamic religion. You know absolutely for sure, nobody heard it, but we all know what their last words were. They were motivated by religion from start to finish. We have their testimony to say so. There's absolutely no serious doubt that they were motivated by their Islamic faith to do that terrible deed that they did. I won't say that it's spiritual. You can easily say it's not my kind of religion. Of course it's not. But that's not the point. It was religion that did it. There's a logical pathway between religious belief and doing acts of hideous violence in the way that there is no logical pathway between atheism and doing acts of hideous violence.
Okay, but But to be fair to the other side, Richard, many people who believe in religion believe that the very essence of religion is love for fellow man, and therefore acts of violence are antithetical to everything that they believe about in religion. What's your response to them? Are they also tricksy or mad or
Not at
deluded?
all. I mean, the great majority of religious individuals are delightful people who would never hurt a fly. But the fact is that there is a logical pathway between religion and violence, and there's no logical pathway between atheism and violence.
It's very hot up here. I'm going to have Anthony and then I'm going to have Charles. Quick comment from Anthony, then Charles, please.
If love is the essence of religion, then most religions aren't religions, it turns out. Well, there is a very important point to be made about Stalin and Nazism. Stalinism, Nazism, and Maoism. They share something in common with the great religions, and that is that they are monolithic ideologies that believe that they have the one great truth, and everybody's got to sign up for it on pain of punishment if they don't agree. They are formally and structurally very similar to one another. It's no surprise to me that Stalin spent his formative years as a would-be priest in a seminary. He would have learned from that a very important historical lesson about the way that you indoctrinate a people with ideas and get them to sign up for the great project, and if they don't, then they're heterodox in some way and they're going to be punished for it. So it's not really so much a question whether it's a religion or a totalitarian ideology. It's the structure of that kind of thing. What I think we are wanting to argue on our side is that people should think for themselves, choose for themselves, do so responsibly, respect their fellow human beings as individual human beings, and try to live thoughtfully on the basis of the evidence.
Okay. I'm trying to get cross sections. We've got 10 minutes to go. I'd like somebody from the middle, towards the back on this column, someone from second left over here, and third, we've had no one from the middle in this column here yet. But while we're doing that, can I just, another Twitter, we're just absolutely covered in Twitter comments. And this one here, by attacking Richard Dawkins, you are making a martyr of him. Why on earth do you do it?
Well, I guess I do it because I was invited to do it by you. But
well, that was a stupid.
I'm contrary to what Anthony Grading's saying, I'm not making an ad hominem attack on Richard Dawkins. I'm attacking what Richard Dawkins argues and writes, and that seems to me rather the subject of the day.
Okay, and just one more Twitter. If the universe was created, I think we can probably assume that it would lack. Was it lack of self-destructing intelligence, and isn't that proof for evolution? And I simply absolutely know not a clue what that means, so let's move straight on over there, but I'm sure it's a very good question. Let's take a question over here, please. Yep, lady, yes, excellent, lady first.
How would you respond to a sign that I saw outside what appeared to be sort of a mainstream church in the UK, in the southeast, saying, don't think, just believe.
Don't think, just believe. And one over here, yes, second questioner. And let's take the third question. Go, yeah, gentleman here.
Could I ask each side to give an account of the criteria they use for assessing truth, okay, and then to justify that against the charge of fundamentalism?
All right, and while we're doing this, and the third question is doing it, can we please make certain that you cast your votes? The votes, please. Everyone clear about the votes? Hope so. Questioner here. Yes, please.
Richard Dawkins. As has already been said, you're quite happy with the atheist bus campaign wording. Yeah, after all, you endorsed it. It said, God probably doesn't exist. Now, I'm a bit sad. I brought a dictionary along with me, which suggests that someone of that point of view is an agnostic. Doesn't that mean that it's actually an agnostic bus campaign? You're actually agnostic, and you're probably not the best qualified person to oppose the motion tonight.
Excellent, excellent. Wonder what school you went to. Yes.
Hello?